Hello, friends. Welcome to the Cool Vedas. That's Vedas Cool. Now, after narrating Pandu's valor as a king, Vaishampayana began to tell about the children born to Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Now, are you thinking who Vaishampayana? Remember, it's Vaishampayana who's narrating Mahabharata to Janamejaya in the Sarpayaga. I'm sure. Now you're thinking, wasn't it Sauti who is narrating Mahabharata to Shaunaka in Naimisha forest? Exactly. Yes, it is Sauti who's narrating the whole of Mahabharata to Shaunaka and the conclave of sages in Naimisha forest, Naimisharanya. But he is narrating it just as he had heard Vaishapayana tell Mahabharata to Janamejaya in Sarpayaga. So we will have Janamejaya asking many counter questions sometimes, and sometimes it will be Shaunaka who's asking questions to Sauti. That's how Vedavyasa has sewn the threads of this great story together. That is, with this multiple layers of narration. Anyhow, now Janamejaya wanted to know about the birth of Dhritarashtra's children first. Let's read along and see the birth of Dhritarashtra's 102 children. Yes, 102. How? We'll see. Now, this story has been mentioned in Sambhava Parva in Adi Parva. Let's listen along. One fine day, Vedavyasa, the great Krishnadvaipayana, visited Hastinapura. And Gandhari took very good care of the great Dvaipayana, who was exhausted with hunger and fatigue. Gratified with Gandhari's hospitality, the rishi gave her the boon she asked for, which was that she should have 100 sons equal unto her lord Dhritarashtra in strength and accomplishments. Now, Dhritarashtra was a very mighty ruler. Dhritarashtra was told to be the best among the men in physical strength. Now, Gandhari was blessed to have 100 children, just like a husband. Now, we also know that earlier she had got the same boon from Lord Shiva too. Anyway, after some time, after Vedavyasa's visit, Gandhari conceived and she carried the children in her womb for 2 long years without them being delivered. And she was greatly afflicted by this. It was then that she heard that Kunti had given birth to a son who had the splendor just like the morning sun. Gandhari had been pregnant even before Kunti became pregnant. Now, hearing this, Gandhari was very impatient. She was very sad. Impatient of her prolonged period of gestation, she struck her womb with great violence, that too without the knowledge of her husband. And thereupon came out of her womb a hard mass of flesh, just like an iron ball. She was very saddened at this sight, and as she was just about to throw this mass of flesh away, Dvaipayana, the Great One, got to know of this by his spiritual power, and he soon reached Hastinapura. Seeing the mass of flesh, he looked at Gandhari and said, "What have you done?" Gandhari anyway did not attempt to hide her feelings. She honestly told Vedavyasa thus: Having heard that Kunti had brought forth a son, just like Surya in splendor, I struck in grief at my womb. You had, O Rishi, granted me the boon that I will have 100 sons, but here there is only a ball of flesh for those 100 sons. Hearing this, Vyasa replied, O Gandhari, my words can never be futile. I have not spoken an untruth even in jest. Let 100 pots full of ghee be brought here instantly, and let them be placed at a concealed spot. In the meantime, let cool water be sprinkled over this ball of flesh. Soon, that ball of flesh was sprinkled over with cool water, and Vedavyasa began to divide it into 101 parts, each about the size of a thumb. These were then put into pots full of ghee and kept in dark, lonely place with very good care. The illustrious Vyasa then said unto the daughter of Suvala, Gandhari, that she should be patient and open the covers of the pots only after full 2 years. Do you remember the story of another impatient mother whose loss of patience and jealousy ended up making her son a handicap? Please find the story in the description box or in the left top corner. Now back to this story. Vedavyasa, having said this to Gandhari, returned to the Himavat mountains and devoted himself to asceticism, leaving the pot of ghee and the thumb-sized balls of flesh into Gandhari's care. Then, in time, King Duryodhana was born from one of the pots. As soon as Duryodhana was born, he began to cry and bray like an ass. And hearing that sound, the asses, vultures, jackals, and crows uttered their respective cries as if responding to Duryodhana's cry. Violent wind began to blow, and there was fire in various directions. Then King Dhritarashtra, in great fear, summoning Bhishma and Vidura and other well-wishers and all the gurus and a numberless brahmanas, addressed them and said, the eldest of the princes, Yudhishthira, is the perpetuator of our line. I know he is the one who will acquire our kingdom. We have nothing to say about this. But then, I want to know if this my son, born after Yudhishthira, can ever become a king. Tell me truly what is lawful and right under these circumstances, asked the loving blind father to the wise assembly. But as soon as Dhritarashtra had asked this question, the air was filled with bad omens. Jackals and other carnivorous animals began to howl. Taking into account those frightful omens all around, the assembled Brahmanas and the wise Vidura replied, O king, with these frightful omens are noticed at the birth of your eldest son, it is evident that he will be the exterminator of your race. The prosperity of all depends on him being abandoned. There will be calamity if he is kept here. O king, if you abandon him, there will yet remain for you 99 sons. If you desire the good of your race, abandon him, O Bharata. O king, do good to the world and your own race by casting off this one child of yours. It has been said that an individual should be cast off for the sake of the family, that a family should be cast off for the sake of a village, that a village should be abandoned for the sake of the whole country, and that the earth itself should be abandoned for the sake of the soul. Vidura and the other learned ones tried to convince Dhritarashtra thus to abandon Duryodhana for the sake of the kingdom. But King Dhritarashtra, out of affection for his son, did not have the heart to follow that advice. His wisdom was now blinded by his love for his son. With the passage of time, that is, within the gap of a month, were born a full 100 sons and a daughter also as the 111th to Dhritarashtra, with Duryodhana as the eldest. Dhritarashtra in the meantime had also fathered from a Vaishya maid another son who was named Yuyutsu. He was very noble and intelligent. As Yuyutsu was begotten by a Kshatriya upon a Vaishya woman, he also came to be known as Karna. This was the story of how Dhritarashtra had 101 sons who were all heroes and mighty chariot fighters, and also a daughter over and above the 101 sons, which makes the number of children to Dhritarashtra as 102. Now, hearing this story, Janamejaya wanted to know about how Gandhari got this daughter, Dushala, when she did not become pregnant again. Wasn't the boon to have 100 sons? Then how did she get a daughter? Even I'd like to know that. So, let's read along and find out that story. Please like, share and subscribe our channel for more Mahabharata stories. Do not forget to press the bell icon. Thank you. Namaste.